Good day, everyone. Today, I'll be discussing the SEM 03-2022, Section 2, 10, 11, 12, and 18. First, in Section 2, transfer of subsection 2.1.1. Transfer of goods to CBW. All goods going to CBW must pass through a scanner like an X-ray at the port. And these rules apply whether the goods are under a warehouse or transit declaration. If the goods are under an alert order or need further inspection, they won't be transferred yet. And if everything is clear, the district collector can allow their quick transfer to the CBW where a full physical check will be done. So in short, goods are scanned at the port, and if there is no issues, they can be sent to the warehouse for a full inspection. And for the 2, 2.1.2 storage period of goods in CBW, um, goods can stay in CBW for up to 1 year from the date they arrive. And for goods in common CBW, the 1 year period starts when they reach the mother warehouse, and the perishable goods like food or like food can only stay for 3 months, but it is extendable to another 3 months if approved. So in short, regular goods can be stored in 1 year, and perishable goods can store up to 3 to 6 months if extended. And for 2.1.3, what CBW are allowed to import. So CBW can only import goods covered by their license. So this means only raw materials listed their permit, and only up to approved quantity or volume. For industry specific, only only registered clients can use those materials within their approved limits. And if they import unauthorized goods or exceed limits, duties and taxes must be paid. And for 2.1.4, importing finished goods in CBW are not allowed to import ready-made or finished products. But none is an exemption. Finished goods may be imported only if they will be used as parts or materials for products meant for export, and if approved by the CBW committee. So diri ang if nakay finished product but katong imong finished product is kanang ang para po to sa pagbuo na po og another product. And for 2.1.5, restricted and regulated goods. Some goods need special permits before import, like firearms, chemicals, and medicines. If import without proper permits, customs can seize and confiscate them. So in short, importing controlled goods without clearance lead to confiscation. And for 2.1.6, local sales or domestic use. CBW goods are mainly for export. So local sales is only allowed if the district collector approves it. All duties and taxes are paid. Only up to 30% of total imported materials per year may be sold locally. And for private CBW are not limited by the 30% rule. So in short, up to 30% of goods can be sold locally if approved and taxes are paid. And for private CBW are exempt siya sa kaninga and para sa 2.1.7, Withdrawal for subcontracting. If a CBW operator or member cannot finish production due to lack of space, time, or equipment, goods can be sent to an approved subcontractor with district collector approval. And only accredited subcontractors can do the work, and details for the job must be clear. And for garments, only pre-cut materials may be sent unless permitted otherwise. After subcontracting, finished goods and leftover must be returned to the CBW. The warehouseman records everything to track to use of tax-free materials. And para sa 2.1.8, prohibition for industry-specific CBW or ICBW. ICBW cannot import fibers, yarns, fabric, or garments accessories. So, dito na buta sa 2.2, rules for Common Customs Bonded Warehouse or CCBW and members. 2.2.2 Accreditation. A manufacturer exporter can only be registered with one CCBW, known as the mother warehouse. And all the imported material must go through this warehouse. So in short, exporters can have only one main mother warehouse or CCBW. And for 2.2.2, record keeping and security. The mother warehouse and its members must keep updated records and documents. And goods must be kept safe from theft, fire, or damage. For 2.2.3, access for inspection. Customs officers can inspect the premises anytime, but they must present a mission order approved by the collector or commissioner. And 2.2.4, goods transfer record, a goods transfer recording. All goods sent to CCBW must be recorded by the operator. First, unless the district collector allows direct delivery to the member. And for 2.2.5, accountability. The CCBW operator is responsible for tracking and accounting for all raw materials imported by its members. And for 2.2.6, inactive members, if a member does not import or export anything for 1 year, their accreditation ends automatically. But they can reapply later. And for 2.2.7, transfer time limits. Changing warehouse doesn't extend the allowed storage period. Goods must still be exported within 1 year or 3 months if ang goods is perishable. And for 2.2.8, no extension through transfers. Selling or transfers goods between members in the same CCBW doesn't reset the storage time. So for 2.2.9, transfers between members can transfer goods without duties and taxes only if the buyer will further process them or use them as part of packaging for export products. And para sa 2.2.10, record updates. The new CCBW must file a WSAD to monitor the transferred goods, replacing old records. So for 2.2.11, um, retransfers not allowed. So a member who receives transferred goods cannot transfer or sell them again to another member para maiwasan ang mga buy and sell na lang sa isa ka customs bonded warehouse. And for 2.2.12, transfer approval. Any sale or transfer of bonded goods must be approved by the district collector. And for 2.2.13, joint accountability. Both the CCBW operator and its member are responsible for properly accounting for all goods under their WSAD. And for 2.2.14, shared liability. If bonded goods are sold or transferred between members, both the CCBW and the buyer are equally responsible for any issues that arise. And kana lang tanan para sa section 2. And dinabuta sa section 10.1, warehousing documents. 10.1.1, documents for pre-SAD or SAD, warehousing single administrative document. Declares goods entering to the warehouse submitted to the account officer for checking. And the shipping and commercial documents includes the invoice, packing list, and other papers attached to the SAD for verification. And for 10.1.2, documents. SAD used by the account officer to confirm if the items are included in the approved importable materials. Um, approve Approved SMMRIR or list of importable materials helps custom confirm that the goods are allowed for warehousing. And for 10.1.4, required customs required documents noted SAD or pre-SAD main custom reform declaring the goods for warehousing. Um, the bill of lading, proof of shipment and ownership, and invoice for show the price and description of the goods, basis for customs valuation, or in the packing list where list what inside each container or package, and import permits. Kanisha is if needed lang, para ni siya sa required for controlled goods in SAD transfer note or mission order for LCL. Kani kay authorizes legal transfer from port to warehouse. Ang purpose ani is para sa support sa SAD para ma-verify nga ang ma-verify ang shipment details ug ang quantity and legality. And for 10.1.5, documents SAD used to check if the import is allowed and within the approved limits. Kani kay goods declaration for consumption, filed if goods are exceed and ay filed if goods exceed the allowed amount or are not covered by the CBW authority. And staging bill of lading issued when warehouse entries are converted to consumption entries. And para sa 10.1.6, goods declaration for warehousing registered in the customs E2M system once verified, used for inspection and tracking of raw materials. And para sa 10.1.8, e-track system record used by the customs electronically track and monitor goods before final assessment. And for 10.1.9, 10 ay and 10 documents said assessment notice that duties and taxes have been charged to CBW operators bond. And for 10.1.11, WDRD copy of entry kept by the warehouse documentation and record division for reference or when the goods are seized. And for 10.1.12, document logbook logbook Annex G, where the account officer records the status of the goods declaration for warehousing. And 10.1.13, goods declaration for warehousing is submitted with the records for filing in the warehouse documentation and records division. And for 10.1.14, mission order issues for less tender load or LCL shipment assigns a customs guard to supervise the transfer note or boat note, authorize and tracks the movement of goods to the CBW. And ang purpose ani is to ensure secure and documented transfer under customs supervision. And sa 10.1.15, transfer note or boat note presented when goods arrive at the CBW as proof of delivery. Logbook entry, logbook entry, records cargo condition and arrival details. Ang purpose ani is to confirm goods are arrived safely and were officially received by the warehouse. And dito na punta sa section 10.2, transfer through transit. Main document, SAT SAD or Transit Single Administrative Document is used to transfer imported goods from the port or customs area to the CBW and must be filed electronically in the E2M system. For 10.2.1, required documents with SAD is bill of lading or airway bill, invoice, packing list, import permit. Ang import permit kay if required lang siya. And ang purpose ani is to confirm shipment details and compliance with import rules. And for 10.1.5, ang SAD Final Assessment Notice. Automatically charge duties and taxes in Automated Bond System or ABMS. And 10.2.6, Mission Order. Um, it authorized a customs guard to watch over loose cargo during transfer. And for 2.2.7 and 2.2.8, transfer note or boat note must accompany the shipment during transfer to the CBW. And para sa 10.2.9, SAD or Warehousing Single Administrative Document filed filed within 5 days after transfer, used to officially record and monitor entry of goods into the warehouse. O kanilang to para sa section 10. And para sa section 5.9, constructive warehousing goods declaration. Kani siya is filed by the CBW buyer. And ang required documents ani niya is ang approved authority to sell para proof na the sale was approved, and copy of constructive export declaration. Kani siya is dapat from seller and it shows the seller export filing, and the certificate of inspection or CI, and kani siya is to confirm that the goods received match what was declared, invoice or sales contract to show the sale details, and the packing list used for checking actual goods received, staging bill of lading to confirm transport details and transfer note or boat note for the proof that the buyer received the goods. And ang purpose ani niya is filed within 5 days after transfer to formally record the receipt of the goods by the CBW buyer. And for the section 11.6.1, accreditation of exporter. Ang kani siya is to confirm that the buyer is authorized to receive the duty-free or tax-free goods export. and the buyer must be listed in the CBW license to allow the sale. And para sa section 11.6.2, request application for withdrawal, is kani siya a formal request to withdraw goods for sale, and ang supported by the documents like invoice and packing list to show the transaction details. And para sa section 11.6.3, for sale to accredited client exporter, ang needed document ano niya is ang certificate of inspection, and ang and BC form 218, and must include the SAD number, original copy warehouse entry, name and address of the CBW seller, name and address for the client exporter, quantity description of finished goods, quantity and description of raw materials used, product code, value in USD, and ang purpose ani niya is completed by the custom examiner to verify and record the sale before the goods are released to the exporter. And para sa Section 11, Transfer and Sales, 11.7.1, used when transferring bonded goods for export production from ICBW to MCBW or free zone. And ang document nga need niya is ang sale contract, SAD, CI, invoice, packing list, authority to sell, PESA form, 8105, goods declaration, requisition slip, withdrawal form, transfer note. And para sa 11.7.2, for airline meal, supplies, and export declaration. Ang needed documents ay niya is ang requisition slip, CI, invoice, transfer note, export declaration. And para sa 11.7.3, for urgent release of the aircraft parts and consumable, ang needed documents ay niya is ang requisition slip, CI, transfer note, export declaration. And para sa 11.7.4 is same as 11.7.1, ang is applied to multinational ICBW. And para sa 11.7.5, for local sale of bonded goods with tax payment, ang needed document aniha is ang letter request, warehouse man certification, staging bill of lading, goods declaration. And para sa section 12, export inspection, 12.1, written invoice. Kani siya is to inform customs of export inspection schedule. And para sa 12.2, certificate of inspection to confirm goods were examined for export. And para sa 2.3.1, kani siya same district. The documents include the EDSAD, CI, invoice, packing list, export, clearance, transfer note, and the CIL for export within one port. And para sa 12.3.2, kani siya sa different district, uses TSAD, CI, invoice, packing list, transfer note, export clearance, ED, and CIL when moving goods between ports. And kanilang siya para sa Section 12. And para sa Section 18, suspension and closure of CBW. 18.1, customs bonded warehouse or CBW may be closed by the district collector for any of these following reasons. 18.1.1, when the CBW operator requests to stop operation, or when conditions require closure under Section 807, Chapter 2, title of the CMTA. Example, operator decides to discontinue business or fails to meet certain legal condition. And para sa 18.1.2, if the renewal application contains false or misleading information, for example, submitting fake data in renewal form. And para sa 18.1.3, if the operator fails to submit an application for renewal, ang example is not renewing the CBW permit on time. And para sa 18.1.4, if the CBW has been inactive for more than one year, kani is means ani is kanang wala importation for 1 year, wala import, no legal withdrawal or export of goods within the storage period. And plus sa 18.1.5, if the operator of any responsible officer allow the warehouse to be used for illegal activities, kanang mag-store of smuggled goods gamit ang warehouse or unlawful trade. And para sa 18.1.6, if the CBW is relocated or an extension warehouse is used without authorization. Kanang example ani is mag-move to a new site or adding another storage area without customs approval. And para sa 18.1.7, if there are unauthorized changes made to layout of the CBW, ang example ani is changing the warehouse design or the floor plan without the permission. And 18.1.8, if there are unauthorized structural changes made to the CBW or its extension warehouse, siya is for the second offense. Example ani is renovating or adding new structure again after a first warning. And plus sa 18.1.9, if materials of goods are withdrawn from the CBW without a properly processed requisition slip or withdrawal form, kani kay this may also result in confiscation of the goods nga gi-withdraw. And sa 18.1.10, if imported materials or finished goods are illegally withdrawn from the CBW, ang penalty ani is maybe forfeited, or if duties and taxes are paid, a surcharge will be added as per section 1422 of the CMTA. And for the 18.1.11, if the operator violates any customs law, rules, or regulation, example ani is failure to comply with customs procedures or guidelines. And para sa 18.2, if any reason for closure exists, the district collector will issue a closure order using the format provided in Annex N. Meaning, once a valid ground is found, the district collector will formally order the CBW to close. And para sa 18.3, once the closure order is issued, the chief of the Warehouse Inspection Division or WID or equivalent office will immediately seal the guard and guard the CBW 24 hours a day at the operator expense until all records or responsibilities are cleared. Meaning ani, the warehouse will be locked and guarded continuously, and the operator must pay for this security until all issues are settled. And para sa 18.4, after receiving the closure order, the CBW operator must surrender all books, records, and documents na related to the warehouse operation of the chief of operating division. Meaning ani, the operator must hand over all the paperwork connected to the CBW. And para sa 18.5, the chief of the operating division will then conduct a full inventory of all goods inside the CBW. This includes imported goods, raw materials, work in process, and finished products. The inventory report must also show and unliquidated and warehouse declaration or WSAD. Meaning ani, customs will count and record everything inside including items that are not yet been cleared or finalized. Ang 18.6, all items listed in the inventory will be placed under custody of the collection district unless operators pays all duties, taxes, and other charges. While waiting for the turnover, the operator will shoulder the cost of the security for the CBW. Meaning any goods stay with customs unless all payments are made and the operator pays for wait lang, sir. for warehouse security this time. And for 18.7, any warehousing supervision fee still unpaid at the time of closure must be collected. However, fees already paid before a closure will not be funded, meaning the operator must settle any remaining fees but cannot get back what was already paid. And 18.18, closure, the CBW does not erase any obligation or liability of the operator or accredited member related to its previous operation. And kanilang ang nasa section 2, 10, 11, 12, and 18. And thank you for watching.